Hi guys. I always try to get a still shot at the beginning. Okay, so it's a pro tip. If you stay still, it'll capture your very first image as the little cover photo that it does. So hi, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Morgan Zambrano. I have been with Senegen since March of 2017, so I have been here for a while. I'm so excited to chat with you guys today. I was so excited that Pam asked me to jump on and talk to the maiden and above. So congratulations on holding a rank, on being a leader, on having a team, and all of those things. So I'm gonna jump right in because I'm not gonna take too much of your time today, mostly because I am on a schedule today, which I know people hate being scheduled, but you know what? Sometimes it's what we have to do. So to give you a little background on me, I know Pam put up like a little bio, but I have 3 kids and I work from home. I do this full time, but that's not how it was when I joined. So when I joined, I worked full time and I had 2 kids. I had a 5-year-old and I had a baby. And I did not like leaving my baby. Everyone told me that it would get easier, and you would think with my second kid it would be easier, and it wasn't. It was very hard to drop him off every single day. My oldest was already in kindergarten, but I was dropping my middle son Gavin. He's actually here with me today. He might pop in. Dropping him off at daycare, and so every day I was going to work, and then my husband was working nights, and so I would drop off. All of this matters to what we're going to talk about because I know the whole point of this video is that everyone is busy, right? So I was, waking up around 5, 6 in the morning, and then I was doing I couldn't actually drop my oldest off at school. I had to drop him off at a daycare before school because I had to get to school, or I had to get to work before he could even be dropped off at school. So I was actually dropping him off at a daycare in the morning. And then I was dropping my baby off with my mother-in-law, so I would go to 2 different places in the morning, and they weren't even in the same town. So I had like an hour commute every morning. I was dropping one off, I was dropping the other off, and then I was driving like 25 minutes to work. So I was literally doing like an hour commute in the morning and in the evening to do this like drop-off thing. And then, so I would get home, let's say around 6:30, cook dinner for my oldest, bath time, bedtime. By the time they're in bed, it's like 9 o'clock and the baby eats every 2 hours. You know what I mean? And so anyway, so I was just in this like cycle of living a life that I wasn't loving because I was hardly seeing my kids at all. And when I was seeing them, it was only in those very busy times. And so when Senegen's kind of like, when I found LipSense and I fell in love with LipSense and then I decided to build a business with LipSense, I just need you guys to know that I never thought of this casually. That is important to like my story. I never thought of this casually. To me, this was always the opportunity for me to stay home with my children. I knew that if I could make this work to the level that I wanted to make it work, that I could stay home with my kids. And so for me, what I'm about to show you and explain to you, I just need you to understand like this was never casual for me, but the process I'm going to teach you, you can still do in a casual way. But for me, I was fitting this business into any time slot I could find, whether it was 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 5 hours. I was working my business to the absolute full capacity that I could. I worked harder when I first joined than I do now. I can't even lie to you guys. I still work very hard, but those first couple of years, it was a grind every single day to get to where I could live the life that I wanted. So the first thing I want you guys to understand when it comes to managing your time, this is going to sound so silly, but like it really matters for you to understand the vision of what you want for your life. Because we get so wrapped up in, I don't have time for this, and I don't have time for that. But have you actually sat down and thought about what does my perfect life look like? What does my perfect schedule look like? What do those activities look like? Because if you don't know what you're aiming for, you can't ever get there. And so I don't think enough people explain it that way. They just say, make a schedule, time block, da-da-da-da. But it's like, everyone just gets overwhelmed with that. And so for me, I will tell you that my schedule has changed over and over and over again because I don't know what my perfect life looks like because I'm not there yet. But I'm willing to move things around and I'm willing to try new things. And I've tried working mornings, I've tried working nights, I've tried working in the middle of the day. Like I've tried working weekends, I've tried working weekdays. I have bounced my schedule around so much because I am looking for that balanced life that we're all looking for. You know what I mean? But because my vision is to have kids that are happy, kids that I get to spend a lot of time with, but also be very successful. I want to have both. Not everyone wants that, but I want to be very successful. Like wildly successful is the word that I use, but I also want to be like a wildly successful mom. So it's very important to me that I have both and figuring out how to do both. But it takes practice, and it takes trying different strategies, just like it would learning how to play tennis or something. I don't know. So know your vision. And then from your vision, know your goals, okay? So what does wildly successful mean to me? What does that look like? I literally wanted to be number one in the company. That's something I dreamed of for years. It wasn't an accident. Like I dreamed of that moment for 5 years before it finally happened. It wasn't just, I want to be top of the company, because people use the word top and it's like top could be top 10. Top 25, what does top mean? I want it to be number one. Does that make sense? So for you, it might be top 100. Right now, I had a dream last night that I was top 20 sponsor. I literally had a dream about it, you guys. That's how like focused I am. It's ridiculous. So what are your goals? What's the vision, including your family, including all of your goals, okay? So I'm talking really fast because we got to make this quick. So once you know your vision, once you know your goals, Pam didn't even tell me to talk about this. So if you look at this and you go, ugh, this is another corporate training. No, this is a mom who's a distributor who's telling you that this works. Okay? No one told me to talk about this. This is legit. This is legit. So if you've never watched the full Joni training on this, go watch the full Joni training on this. But what I'm going to tell you guys right now is that this is the Sun Essential Calendar. This is in your back office. I'm sure Pam, it might even be in this group. I don't know. It might already be in here. I don't know. I've only been in here a few hours. This is the Sun Essential Calendar. And the way that this works is you put X's on any time that you cannot work your business. Cannot, okay? If you work, if you have church, if you have a date night, if you have whatever. Soccer, okay? You put X's whenever you cannot work, and then you circle anytime that you could work. Not that you will, but that you could. You might have one bubble. One. Guess what? I teach people how to build a business in one bubble. You can too. But you have to understand how many bubbles you have. And then once you have the bubbles, you decide how many bubbles you want to work, but also how many bubbles you want to spend with your family. Okay? But you have to know how much time you have available. I don't know if you're anything like me, but I always felt, I don't feel like this as much anymore, but I always felt like there was never enough time. And so I was constantly like, I was losing time because of anxiety. Like I was literally so stressed that I didn't have enough time that I wasn't actually looking at a calendar and going, well, I actually have 30 hours this week that I could spend with my kids if I just prioritized it. If I just said, oh, Saturday is going to be a whole family day and Thursday night we're going to do a game night or whatever. There are hours on the calendar, but sometimes we feel like we don't have any time. So when we have an hour, we miss it. When we have 5 minutes, we miss it because we're not actually looking at it. We're looking at it emotionally instead of looking at it like strategically. And so my family is part of my strategy because my family is part of my vision. Does that make sense? And so anyway, so this is just an example of when I was working full time. So I couldn't really do much work. I couldn't work during work hours, obviously, but I did start to sacrifice my lunch break. I sacrificed my entire lunch break for months. And I would work, from the parking lot. I would go sit in my car and I would eat like a sandwich and I would work my business. So I got an hour each day working my business in my car, like 45 minutes if you count walking out to the car and walking back. So like 45 minutes in my car every single day. That's almost 5 hours a week. That's more than most people work their businesses, just 5 straight hours of like focused, intentional work. So just working on my lunch break and sacrificing my lunch break every single day for 9 months, I worked more than most people do. Does that make sense? And so you find your bubbles and then you decide what bubbles, and I really want you guys to understand that the bubbles don't just have to be work. I fill in the bubbles with like family stuff too, or with, whatever. Like if I know that I intentionally want to get closer to my kids or closer to my husband, like they go in the bubbles too. The bubbles are to put activities that feed into your vision and into your goals, and you can make goals for your family. It's a whole nother conversation I should have. Okay, so let me look. Okay, so then this is a very quick rundown. This is like a 3-hour journey training in like 10 minutes. Or in like 5 minutes, this bubble thing. So look into the bubble thing, look into the Sun Essential Calendar. There's a whole training on how to do it, okay? So now that we have our bubbles, we need to fill those bubbles with activities. I'm sorry if you see me looking off to the right. Actually, I'm dual broadcasting right now, so I have 2 phones up. So you have to fill the bubbles with activities. Here's another place where I see people get stuck, especially leaders and especially newer leaders. This is where they get stuck because there's so many different things that you could do. You need to sponsor, you need to sell your own products, but you also want to lead your team, but you also want to be a mom, you also want to be a wife, you also want to be a friend, you also want to be a human, you just want to be yourself for 2 seconds. You know what I mean? Like we have so many hats that we're just like, oh my gosh, and then we get this like analysis paralysis and we do nothing. So another thing that I would have you do is write it all down. I feel like people roll their eyes at me when I say stuff like this, but write down like everything. Write down all the activities that you want to do or that you do. Could be for your business. It could be for your home life. It could be for family. Let's just talk business for now. So let's just talk business. Let's talk about the activities that you do in your business. So we need to post in our customer groups, post in our stories, post on our personal pages, go live and demo the products in stories, do Facebook parties, you might do reels, you do in-home demos, you do in-person makeovers, you like the sky's the limit, right? So you could have a list, follow-ups, relationship building intentionally, and that doesn't even include, then you also want to train your team. You might do coaching calls with your team, you might have group chats with your team, you might have challenges for your team, you might create content for your team, you might have mega parties, like whatever. Like it feels like so much. You're like, oh my gosh, how does one person do this much, okay? So what it comes back to is 1, knowing what activities you can do, and then knowing how long they take, and then prioritizing them to fit into your goals, okay? This is so much. Pam's going to be like, this is all over the place, but this is how my brain works. This is literally what I do. I think about the vision for my life. I start with the vision for my life. I want happy kids. I want to be a successful mom, but I also want to be a successful business owner. I want both. So I want to make sure all of my bubbles are filling in both of those things. So then I think about my goals. My goals might be Ruby Senna sales, Sapphire Senna sponsor, and being on track for Lips trip. Like those are like my main goals right now. So I need to sell things and I need to sponsor. Those are kind of my 2 main things right now. So guess what? If selling things and sponsoring new sponsors are my 2 priorities, then my actual, like my full team, as much as they're always a priority, this is a real talk conversation, they're always a priority, but they get me on my team call on Tuesday. Otherwise, they're not a current priority. Does that make sense? My priority right now is finding new people to sponsor. My priority right now is hitting those goals. My priority right now is my personal business. And so if my priority right now is my personal business, I still have resources for my team, but they don't actually need to go into the bubbles. The bubbles are working towards my current personal goals. Does that make sense? That was very high level. Hi, baby. I'm just talking about you. Hold on. He probably wants to come say. Do you want to come say hi really fast?
Hi.
Tell them you're the reason that I started my Senegence business.
I'm the reason I started her Senegence business.
He knows. He tells everyone. He's like, he's like, I'm the reason that we have this house. I'm the reason that Mama does Senegence. Like he knows. He knows that it was because of him. So anyway, okay. Will you go downstairs for just a second? I'm almost done. So I hope that this is making sense. So in a nutshell, she showed us this earlier this week. Perfect. It's your homework this week, you guys. See, I didn't even know. Your bubbles float around and you have too many. Okay, so here's the thing. You have to time block so you can get everything done. Your job and family gets blocked first and then business next. Exactly. So here is, I I'm going to tell you guys something that I wouldn't normally say, but I'm just going to be very honest with you. I find that the busier I am, the more productive I am. And the more open my schedule is, the less I actually get done. Does anyone else feel that? Like when you could work all day, you find yourself actually kind of like doing nothing all day and then working in like 1 hour and getting everything done in an hour. Does anyone relate to that? So I find that the busier I am, the more I get done. So I make myself busier. I intentionally make myself busier. So for me, I started homeschooling my kids back in December, and everyone was like, how on earth do you have time to homeschool? And what they didn't understand is that while my kids were at school for like 8-9 hours a day, I was only getting a couple like real strong hours of work done. I was literally only getting a couple hours of work done, but I was like lollygagging for 9 hours a day while they were gone. Like they're gone all day, and I'm just like la 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 la, not getting anything done. So I actually started homeschooling intentionally because now I have less time to work my business, and my business is growing. Okay, so it might not mean homeschooling your kids. That was a big jump. But it might mean getting that gym membership that you've been pushing off because you don't think that you have time for it, when really it actually might make you better at your business. You being gone for an hour a day at the gym might make you get more done in 2 hours instead of 3 hours that you have to work. It might mean taking up a new hobby, a different hobby that's actually going to distract you so that you only have 2 hours to work your business instead of 4. Does that make sense? It sounds crazy. That's not going to work for everyone. That might overwhelm you. But for me personally, I add stuff to my calendar like this. This is a good example. Pam just asked me to do this video yesterday. I easily could have said no. I just got back from a trip 2 days ago. I said yes. You know why? Because now I'm in my office, I am sitting my butt down, and I am working. And I wouldn't have. If I didn't have this on the calendar, I wouldn't be sitting here right now, because I literally told her, I was like, I have all day open. I have all day open. All day. Whatever. She said noon. I've been working since 9 a.m. because I knew that this was coming up. So I was like, well, I really should start working at like 9. I should get like a few hours of stuff done. Plus I want to prep for that training, so then I'm going to do that training, and then I'll spend time with my kids. It actually blocked out my day. My day wasn't blocked out until yesterday because I added something else to my calendar that made me focus. Otherwise, I would have been all over the place all day today. This having one thing on my calendar blocked out my whole day. So anyway, that's kind of off topic, but I hope that that's helpful. So I feel like I have so much more that I want to say about this, but I wanted to do 15 minutes, and I'm already at 20. So let me go back through. Does anyone have any questions? You're more productive in the school year than in the summer. Exactly. Oh, no, I had one. I could talk about this for hours, which is why I really just wanted to focus on the calendar, figuring out your activities, but knowing. I always have people say, well, I don't know where to start, and you start with your goals. What activities lead into your goals? As distributors, we have so much freedom in our business that we can do anything. The sky's the limit. You could build on Instagram, Facebook, in person, vendor events. There's so many different ways, and people get so stuck, but it's like, what's the goal? What's the goal, and what's the best way to get to that goal? And those are the activities that you should do. Don't start adding other stuff until what you are doing is already working. Does that make sense? And so that's why I'm able to like really focus, because I know what my goals are, and I know what my vision is, and I only do the activities that feed into that vision. Like right now, I'm not doing a lot of reels. If I want to bring in like a ton of new eyeballs on me, if I'm like, my business is so stagnant, no one's buying, no one's ordering, I need new eyeballs, then I'm going to go through and I'm going to do a 30-day Reels challenge. Right now, I have a lot of people, and I need to relationship build. That's where I'm at right now. So my Reels have kind of slowed down because I don't need new people. I need to work with the people that I have. So my activities right now are very relationship focused, or very building relationships deeper focused. Like that's my focus right now. Should you do all the things all the time? Sure. My brain doesn't work that way. But what I wanted to tell you guys, this is one of the most important things that I learned in my business as a mom and as a wife. Okay, so this is very specifically as a mom and as a wife. When your time is up, like if you say, I'm going to go work from noon to 2, you better turn off your phone at 2 and go say hi to your husband, or turn on or close your computer and go say hi to your kids, because there is such an issue that I see in this business, in network marketing, not just SeneGence, but in network marketing in general, where men and kids feel like the business is taking away their mom, or like is making their mom busy, or the mom feels like, oh my gosh, this business is too much. No, you suck at boundaries. If you feel that, I love you, but you suck at boundaries. Because if you say I'm working from noon to 2 and you walk out that door at 1:59, your kids are never going to question it. The next time you say you're working until 3, they're going to say, okay. Next time you say you're working until 7, they're going to say, okay. But it's because you say 2 and then it's 2:05. You say 2 and then it's 2:15. And they blame the business and you blame the business instead of having boundaries around the time that you're working, and then you build trust within your business and you trust yourself. I've lost trust with myself over the years. I have. There have been times where I have lost trust with myself because I'll say I'm going to go work for 3 hours and I'll work for 5. And then I'm like, my business is taking too much away from my family. No, it's not my business. It's me. It's not your business. It's you. Okay? And here's the thing. When you don't have those hard boundaries, you lollygag, you scroll reels, you scroll Facebook, you spend too much time in group chats because you have the extra 15 minutes because you're like, I know I said 2, but like, it's okay if I take an extra 5 minutes. No, it's not. When it comes to your kids and when it comes to your family, it's not. And so I'm only talking to you guys like that because I wish someone would have talked to me like that years ago, because this is something that I've learned over time, that I am so strict with myself now. It is like, it's a thing because it's not the business. It's that we don't have good boundaries. And so if you say, I'm going to be done at 2, but you're really like, nope, I'm aiming to clock out at 1:58. I'm going to send that last message at 1:59. You're going to work faster. You're going to work more productively, and you're going to work with more focus because you know that you're actually going to turn off your phone or turn off your computer and walk out of your office or whatever you have going on, instead of pushing, and everyone losing trust with your business, including you. And so I hope that was helpful. I hope that ending with real talk was okay. But that is something that is so important. The communication that you have with your family, it's the first thing I wrote down, and I forgot to even mention it until the end. The communication that you have with your family about your business and the way that you take action within that communication is what can help you really to build your business and to establish that trust establish that trust with your spouse and your kids. Okay. So I hope that this was helpful. I know it was kind of all over the place. I love you guys too. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Pam, for asking me. If there's any questions, you can drop them into the comments and I will answer them in a little bit. But I am off to have lunch with one of the girls from my team, which is so exciting. And yeah, good luck, you guys. You're kicking butt. You're all ranked. I'm so proud of you. Let me know if you need me. Bye, guys.